Hi you guys, EB the Original Master here, and today I'm here to review another SpongeBob SquarePants episode. Today I'm here to review There's a Sponge in My Soup. So before I get any further with this review, Just Sponge, who is this YouTuber, posted the full link of the English version of this episode. Yes, this episode is not out in the United States, it was actually aired in a different country, and so Just Sponge provided the link of where you can get the episode in English. So I'll put the link down below for you guys to download the episode yourself and check it out. So the synopsis for In a Sponge My Soup, it's not a pretty interesting concept. I mean, it was a good concept, but the whole synopsis of the episode really wasn't that great. So technically, in this episode, Mr. Krabs opens up soup for the customers, and then SpongeBob recited that there's actually a group of hippies that are going to come and try out the soup. So this entire episode was just SpongeBob and Mr. Krabs making the soup. They made the soup out of, well, Mr. Krabs, he used like old pickles, mashed potatoes in the face of Squidward, a moldy Krabby Patty. It was just disgusting things that he put inside the soup. So SpongeBob was making the soup on the stove, and that's where the hippies was outside of the restaurant. So technically this entire episode was basically the hippies going inside the soup and eating up all the ingredients that SpongeBob was putting in the soup. And yes, it really wasn't that great. I mean, there were some gags that I actually laughed at. It's when, the only gag that I pretty much laughed at in this episode is when SpongeBob tried to act like a tough person. I mean, he like the way how he did it was he pulled up his pants a little bit tighter than usual, and that was the only funny gag that I enjoyed throughout this episode. Other than that, the whole concept was just dumb. I mean, not the soup concept, but the whole concept about the hippies going inside the soup and being all cool and eating everything. I mean, they could have did something a whole lot better than adding hippies. I mean, I don't know what were they thinking coming up with this plot. I don't know if it was their choice to do it. But other than that, the whole episode really wasn't that great. It was meh. I have to agree with Squidward here. There really wasn't that much funny gags in this episode. It was just dumb, stupid filler. I'm glad that Bubble Bass came back as a cameo, but I mean, he was another good choice for this episode, but I didn't like the hippies. I really didn't like the hippies. They should have never been in this episode. They should have went for a much better concept than hippies. I mean, it was taking place in winter time. Yes, it was the winter. Yes, the whole episode was taking place in winter, basically. There was no snow, which made absolutely no sense. But overall, I give a Sponge in My Soup. I'll give this episode a 5 out of 10. It's not good, guys. It's not a really good episode. It's meh. It's not the greatest I've seen. So this is the second meh episode of season 11. Don't get me wrong. The title cards have been on point. The only good thing about season 11 so far are the title cards. So far, we had good episodes like Spot Returns, The Checkup, Cave Dwelling Sponge, and that's pretty much it, and Spin the Bottle. Then we got the meh episodes, The Clam Whisperer, and There's a Sponge in My Soup. So far, the only thing that is pleasing about season 11 are the title cards and some of the episodes. But other than that, this is the second meh episode of the season. So with that said, thank you so much for watching my review on There's a Sponge in My Soup. No, I am not going to review the whole episode in depth because I don't want to. I'm only giving out little bits of details about it because I don't want to sit here and review every little bit of thing about this episode. But I'll tell you who the characters are. SpongeBob was in this episode. Patrick was there as a brief cameo. He was inside the soup, dressed up as a hippie guy. Mr. Krabs was a hippie. I mean, the whole hippie concept was so dumb. And another part that I really didn't laugh at is when they were playing on the drums. I mean, they were playing on the drums just to attract the hippies. I mean, no. Why hippies? Seriously, this episode could have had a whole lot of potential if they should have left out the hippie idea for some other episode, not for There's a Sponge in My Soup. I mean, seriously, what does soup have to do with hippies? Or, I mean, what does hippies have to do with soup? That's what I meant to say. What does hippies have to do with soup? Was it there just to make the comic relief a little bit funny? But other than that, I didn't like this episode. This episode gets a 5 out of 10 in my rating. Again, I'll put the link in the description below of where you can download There's a Sponge in My Soup, the English version. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.